Peace and blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Can't get enough of the Hard Talk with Jakim show? You can email us at btom6164@gmail.com. That's bthomp6164@gmail.com. Peace. Peace. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at The Real Jakim. That's at The Real Jakim. Remember, no punks allowed. Peace.
The Hard Talk with Jakim show.
The independent voice you need. The Hard Talk with Jakim show. The independent voice you need. The Hard Talk with Jakim show. Peace and blessings, y'all. What's up, family? This is your man, Jakim, from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Listen, man, I got a great packed show tonight. We're going to get into the Wilmington Land Bank. We're going to get into some stuff for the Delaware Housing Authority. We got two great guests on tonight, and I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to first introduce you to my man that I've known for a couple of years now out of in Wilmington, Delaware, my man, Mr. Dave Ross. Say hello to the people out there, Dave.
Good evening. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight.
All right. Yes. And we'll talk on another show down the road about the other things that Dave does, man. So we have a great thing. And listen, we've got a great young sister with us, Sister Lori Stovall. Can I say Stovall or Stovall?
You can say Stovall.
Oh, there you go. I like
it. A little flair.
That's right. We're going to give it a little flair. It's almost like Tarjay, and Target. We give a little flair to it. And she's from the Delaware Housing Authority, and she's going to give out some great information on how you can get some mortgages, how you can get some of this stuff. But first, we need to talk to Dave about this land bank. And in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, if you're watching and you're in New Jersey, because, I got a lot of followers that watch me in New Jersey, New York, my peeps in Brooklyn, and all those people that's out there. If you're in any of those places and they don't have a land bank, that's because your government ain't doing the right thing, because there's a lot of vacant properties and empty properties that need to be taken off the market and given to people so they can change those communities. So first, I'm just going to go to my man, Dave. Dave, tell me a little bit about this Wilmington, Delaware Land Bank.
Wilmington Conservative Land Bank in the city of Wilmington, Delaware is an agency that collects and manages most of the vacant properties within the city. There are other entities that we collaborate and work with, but what we've been doing at the land bank is we've been taking these blighted properties, restoring properties, and getting some of these properties ready for sale. We had an exciting weekend last weekend on Hilltop. We have about 25 properties we've identified in the Hilltop area that we are trying to get control of ownership of. And in doing that, we're going to change an entire neighborhood. 25 homes is a great number of homes, and I'm sure you'll agree. We're going to invest somewhere in the neighborhood of about $3.5 or $3.7 million and restoring these properties and getting these properties ready for home ownership and getting rid of the blight in the Hilltop area. And doing so, we had 4 properties open on Saturday that are move-in ready, exciting properties, work first class. 2 of the 4 homes have been sold. So if you're watching this show now, you've got to act immediately, get in touch with the Wilmington Land Bank, indicate that you want to see the homes that we have available for sale. Now, because these houses went under contract does not mean that these houses will be delivered to those folks, because we know things happen before settlements, getting the financing together. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. So what you want to do is get in touch with the Wilmington Land Bank. We'll be happy to show you the properties that we have available. We have an agent that we'll put you in contact with. You'll be able to get into the properties, see if this is the right fit for you, and get back with us.
You know, Dave, man, that's fantastic, man. I heard you put out some numbers there, 3.5 million, 3.7 million, man. That's some impressive numbers. And especially in the hilltop area, that's important for us to get those blighted areas. And that is, yeah, I love that. And if you're in Delaware right now and you want to get in contact with, I'm only shortening it because I don't, we ain't got all day to say it, but the Wilmington Land Bank, it's called the Conservative. How would they get in contact with that? Where's the website at?
The website is and with the other city information, just go to your Google Wilmington Land Bank. All of that information will come up with your website, pictures of the homes I was talking about, and the person that you can get in touch with.
All right. And now, are you on the board there? Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And how many people do they have on the board of the land bank?
We have 8 to 10 members.
Okay. Excellent.
And we also have what we call a disposition committee. A disposition committee takes a look at applications that people submit to the land bank for ownership. We also have other properties that folks can come out and buy at a very low cost. And if you have the expertise or a good...
All right. It seems like Dave froze up for a second. So that just gives me a chance to get with Lori. Now, Lori, what we have here, you're back, Dave. Beautiful. So you finished that thought you were saying. Did you have...
We have 2 committees. We have the board and the disposition committee. Disposition committee is actually the committee that assigns individuals to properties that they've went out to take a look at. For example, call the land bank, go online, take a look at the homes that we have, peruse the homes, you get back, you submit an application. When you submit that application to buy a home that has not been completely restored, then you can restore that home yourself. All that you have to do is show us that you have the funds on hand to bring this house to code, and the contractor or yourself with the know-how to get it done. If those 2 things are answered, then more times than not, you'll be approved for a home that you can restore yourself. On the other hand, what I was talking about earlier, we restore properties move-in ready. And the beautiful thing about this is the pricing of these homes are at $150,000 to $175,000. Three bedrooms, 4 bedrooms home, completely restored, move-in ready.
Oh, great. Fantastic, man. I love what you're doing there. I'm not a big fan of the government, but I love when somebody in the government is going to do something for the community. So I don't have to be a fan of the government, but I do want to be a fan of giving our community a chance for ownership. And I'm going to tell most of my people here on the Hard Talk with Jakim show, this is not one of my normal shows because I usually be ranting and raving, but I'm going to tell you this. Ownership is the only way we're going to get ourselves out of that bottom rung. And with that, I'm going to get with Sister Lori. Now, Sister Lori, if say I've got a 500, and I don't, I want everybody to know I don't. 530 point credit score. And I come to you and I say, listen, I'd like to see if I can get some lending. How can you help me?
Yes. So at the Delaware State Housing Authority, our main priority is to get Delawareans into homes and to keep Delawareans in their homes. So one of the things we do as the state's housing finance agency is we offer competitive rate mortgages, 30-year mortgages to Delawareans. And we also offer down payment and closing cost assistance. But as you mentioned, sometimes your credit score or other factors, affecting your home eligibility just aren't there yet. So in that aspect, we partner with many housing counselors throughout the state of Delaware to help with credit repair, to help with credit building, and to help with first-time home buying courses so that you also know exactly what you're walking into when you purchase your first home.
That's great because that in my area, and everybody knows I live in the planet of Dunleith, and I'm in that galaxy on the Route 9 corridor here in Delaware. And one of the things that we had at the neighborhood house, or even in different places all over Delaware, is we've had these first-time buyer camps and stuff like that. Y'all do exactly the same thing, or do y'all spearhead that stuff?
Yeah, so we definitely elevate what's also happening in the community. We work with realtors, we work with other lenders and other nonprofit media partners to really uplift the message of home ownership.
Okay, and then is this only for? I know you're with the Delaware Housing Authority, so I'm sure you're not involved in any commercial properties, are you, or mixed-use properties?
Correct. So our housing finance, or our Kiss Your Landlord Goodbye program, which is our home ownership program, is just for home and residential properties.
All right. And that's a great segue to jump back to Dave. Now, some of these properties that the land bank has taken, are some of the properties mixed use properties where it could be commercial or is it just straight up residential?
Very few are mixed use. Most of those are handled through different agencies. We're focusing on the residential. We're trying to take all the blight as much as we possibly can out of a given area to improve upon life for the citizens there, as well as making it safer. Because as we well know, when you get rid of blight and you light an area up and it's clean, crime goes down.
That is correct.
So life is so much better for everybody.
You're absolutely right, Dave. And, I lived through all the time of the years and was in law enforcement in New York City with the Giuliani administration. And I thought he was a terrible mayor. But one thing he did have right is the quality of life. And quality of life is when you have broken windows and abandoned homes in a community. People think they can throw trash in front of it. People think they can park cars there for 2 years. That's another issue that I have is in a lot of communities, abandoned cars or abandoned vehicles in those places. And usually they're parking in front of a house or property that has been abandoned and looks abandoned. So, yeah, I definitely, quality of life is definitely an issue with us. I know, I'm going to just jump back to Lori for a second. The financing piece for most of us, especially in the communities that we all come from, the financial piece, well, most communities, doesn't really matter. If you got money, it's finances, and finance is finance. The finance piece is the most important part is as important as any other part, but it's one of those things that most people are so scared to get involved in. Can you alleviate some of that pressure?
Yeah, definitely. So buying a house is no easy feat. The process it's hard. It's hard work and it's a huge accomplishment at the end, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, it's confusing at some points and you really want to have someone that you can trust to walk you through the process. And we do have that. We just recently announced our top 10 lenders, and these are lending agencies that have processed the most DSHA loans and are familiar with our product and are familiar with the homeowners that we serve, which are low to moderate income Delawareans. So we do have our top 10 lenders and our top 10 realtors as well to help anyone through the process.
Oh, that's beautiful. Let me piggyback on there. Is there a income requirement for you to work with your organization?
Yes, so I made sure I pulled that up before we hopped on. So say for Newcastle County, for example, if you are a 2-person household, the income limit ranges between $105,000 and $126,000. Another example is if you are in a 3 or more person household in Newcastle County, It ranges from 120,000 to about 147,000. So you would need to make under those limits to qualify for our program.
And let me just follow up with that. And that's some great information. I love the numbers because numbers are real. And I love when people give me the numbers. Now, say you're not in that range. Is there a program that gets people to try to hit to that target that you work with, like pre-lending time or something? Do Delaware offer something like that?
So for those ranges, you would just have to be underneath. So you need to make less than 105,000.
Oh, yes. Okay, gotcha.
So you don't have to meet 100,000 to get into the program. So anything under that. But as I mentioned, we work with fabulous housing counselors throughout the state. They're versed in not only home ownership, but rental assistance as well, mortgage assistance. That's another program that we recently launched, which allows a homeowner to get up to $50,000 in mortgage assistance. It can help cover property taxes, utility payments, and future mortgage payments as well. But again, all of this work is done with our amazing housing counselors.
Lori, say that again. I think folks need to hear that again and explain to them exactly what that means. That's exciting.
Yes, definitely. It is very exciting. Thank you so much. So we just last June, we launched our Delaware Mortgage Relief Program, and that is funded by the Homeowners Assistance Fund and the American Rescue Plan Act. Long story short, Delaware received $50 million to help homeowners, and that program allows homeowners to apply for up to $50,000 in assistance. It is a grant. You do not have to pay it back. It does not affect your taxes in any way. It is a grant for up to $50,000. It can be used for mortgage payments, that is delinquent mortgage payments, or future mortgage payments as well. It can be used for property taxes, utility payments, water and sewer, and then other items such as homeowners insurance or HOA fees.
Wow, that is so important. I wish I had that when I was buying my house. Well, man, I would have loved that. But you know what? I get in my email all the time. Somebody, btom6164@gmail.com, you know it. So I get in my email, people are always talking, I'm thinking about coming to Delaware. I'm thinking about coming to this. And I tell them, man, you put on your big boy pants and make sure you do your homework before you come here. I'm not saying don't come, and I'm not saying come. But I will ask you this, Lori, just to piggyback on that. Is there a resident requirement for this?
Yep. So for both programs, for the homeownership program, you must purchase a home in Delaware. Yes. And then for the mortgage assistance program, you must live and occupy your home in Delaware.
Okay. Now, to follow.
And your question
do you have to be from Delaware?
That is a great question. I know for the mortgage relief program, yes. I'm not quite sure on the homeownership program, but can check on that for you. Okay. So if you send me a email at btom6164, that's btom6164@gmail.com. I'll send you to a link to maybe Lori or to her staff or give you the answer about that. Because if you're trying to move to Delaware, you're trying to get out of nasty New Jersey. Nope, don't get me offended. Don't be offended. I love all my people in New Jersey, but the property taxes are outrageous there, and everybody I know that's from New Jersey is complaining about it. So, but they got good schools. Let's give them that. So again, if you're watching, this is the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Yeah, usually I have some music on at this time, and you hear that nice sound music, but I don't have it on today because I want you to get the information that is important. That is very important for us to change some of these communities. Now I'm going to go back to Dave now. Now, Dave, me and you know our city of Wilmington, Delaware. And one of the things that I have always stated in Wilmington, Delaware, whether it be in Southbridge or Hilltop or any of the places in Delaware, I've always complained that they're not investing enough in communities of Black and brown communities. But this program is trying to alleviate some of those. And do you believe that?
Absolutely. Because if you take a look at what's being done throughout Wilmington, most of the feedback that I get from a lot of the residents is, I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about that. Well, what I would suggest that you do is to get in touch with your neighborhood associations. We have information that come from our city council to our neighborhood associations, to our neighborhood planning councils, all the way up through other agencies that we partner and collaborate with to give them the information that they need to stay in their homes. If you are experiencing back payments, then you need to call Lori right away. If you are experiencing any kind of difficulties with your mortgage, Lori is the person that you need to speak with. If you are in the market and you would like to buy a house, but again, you haven't taken those steps, again, call Lori. They collaborate, partner with people that can get you into a home. By the same token, if you're interested and you have some resources and you'd like to talk to the land bank about restoring a property or acquiring a property that's been restored, you can reach us by simply dialing 311. We are part of the city, so it's very easy to reach us, 311. We will be delighted to answer your questions, and I will take the time myself to show you around. Again, I'm a board member. I'm not one of those people that you're going to see in the office. We govern the land bank, and the 8 or 10 of us collectively decide what's going to be done, accepted.
And the direction.
And exactly. But again, I can't say it enough. Most of our folks, it always comes down to communications. I didn't get it. I didn't hear it. But if you're listening to us right now, act. Don't wait. Act on this today.
All right. Listen, I'm going to piggyback again. I'm going to follow up on what Dave said. Do not get in fear when you hear these banks that are going out of business and they're gambling with money, and then we, the taxpayer, have to pay it back. Don't get into that. If you are looking for a house now, go and get a house now. If you're looking for a property now, go and get it now. There's no waiting for tomorrow. You might want to do it now because now is all you have. Let me just go back to Dave and Lori. I'm going to ask you one question, but first I'm going to give this to Dave. Now, we've known the land bank here in Wilmington has been in existence for some time. What has changed in it that now you're reaching out to the community to really get it? Because I know 5-6 years ago, the land bank was in, and there was a lot of stuff in the Delaware news and in the news journal about it and whatever. But it seems like there's a change now. I'm glad to see this change of direction, but what do you think the change is?
Well, we've got the right people at the helm now. We've got a board that looks like Wilmington. Okay? There
you go.
We've got people that look like us at the table helping making decisions. That makes a big difference. But most of all, when you first set up something as large as the land bank, and if you are managing as many properties as we once had, which was probably a couple of hundred homes at one time, 300, 400. We have 100 lots right now, empty lots. And we have 141, 142 structures. So we've got inventory if folks give us a call. But,
there you go.
But to answer your question is putting the right people into an organization, experiencing things, realizing that change had to be made. The mayor's office realized that. And about 2 years ago, a disposition committee was established, and then the board changed drastically.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Hence, you have myself, hardworking folks behind the scenes, Bud Friel. Everybody knows who Bud is. Bud's doing an incredible amount of work in the Hilltop area and raising money. And all of this is to change that neighborhood. We're coming to every neighborhood in the city, but we're doing it one step at a time.
All right. Well, let me go to Lori now, and I love that, and I'm gonna get back to you because we're going to talk about something that people have a fear of the push-outs and the so-called gentrification. Now, if you watch the Hard Talk with Jakim show for any time now, you know I've had my gentrification segment and show about a year ago. I had it, and we had a big argument on here. It was a great show. Does gentrification actually exist, or are we just being bought out? But we ain't going to give it to this panel. But what I am going to say is that if you don't make those moves now, you got nobody else to blame. You're giving the information now. I'm giving you the information. You know I'm hard on the people, but I'm giving you the information so that you can make this ownership move. Now, Lori, I don't try to tell people to come to Delaware. I'm not part of the Delaware Tourism Association, and I don't tell people not to come to Delaware. What I always do is tell them to do their homework. And with your organization, they can actually go online and look at some of the opportunities they can get. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And I just want to say one quick thing about the Hilltop event last weekend, Dave. I stopped by one of the houses and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And one of them has such a great backyard and outdoor space. I couldn't believe it.
Right. It was envy. Why can't I get that now?
It was beautiful. So definitely go and check out these properties. But yes, definitely. The DSHA website, as well as the Kiss Your Landlord Goodbye website, has a trove of homeowner resources for Delawareans. And if you cannot find what you are looking for, my team and I will make sure that we point you in the right direction. That is something we pride ourselves on. We might not have the answer, but we are sure enough going to dig it up and try and help you the best we can. One of the websites I want to make sure that I also mention is the Delaware Housing Search website. So that's delawarehousingsearch.com. And that has listings of rentals as well as home for sales. It is a free service. And what's really cool about it is it allows you to filter based off of your needs. So if you are looking for a home for sale, you can filter on that website. If you have a voucher, per se, from one of the housing authorities, you can use that to filter. If you need a handicap accessible unit, you can use that filter as well. And that is one of our resources that is always available to the citizens of our state.
And that's fantastic. That's a good thing. I like that. That's, both the programs is important for us to maintain that stuff. Now, one of the things that used to be a big criticism in a lot of stuff in Delaware is that we get into these things that are so cliquish and they click. This is not about a click. Folks out there, this is not about a click. This is not about who you like in this one or who you like in your HOA or your civic association. This is about you owning your own property, having ownership. And that's why it's so important. That's why I wanted to bring this out. And so Sunday's show is going to be a lot about it too, about ownership. You're not going to get anything economically if you don't own it. If you don't have ownership, you can rent till you're blue in the face. And every month, every year with your landlord, you're going to be playing the rent monopoly where he or she is going to give you a number, and either you're going to have to move or you're going to have to stay. This is why ownership is important. You know where you're going and what you can do with your house. Now, we only got a couple of more minutes left, and I just want to make sure that the people out there get the right information, the right online, the right websites, the right stuff. So I'm going to give Dave the chance to give all the information online that they can get to so they can get the right information. Don't listen to just because you see your man on Market Street and your man on Market Street talk that nonsense. You know the ones I'm talking about. Last week I had the conversation about the cracktivists, the community cracktivists and the sellout Timmies that we have, but don't listen to them. Go directly. Dave's going to give you where you can get this from the land bank. Yeah, give it to him, Dave.
Okay. If you want to contact the land bank, 311 is the number. Again, 311, or Google Wilmington Land Bank. If you have questions that you'd like to send to me, I will give you my email. You can email me at edwarddavid1stgolf@aol.com. AOL.com. edfirstgolf@AOL.com.
And listen, we're going to put that in the comment sections after the show, and I'm going to put that information on there so that they can have it access. You can't make no excuses that you didn't know. Now, Lori, you don't mind if we tell them that newly married Lori, right? Newly married Lori, would you give them, would you give them your information from Delaware Housing Authority?
Yes, absolutely. So if you are interested in home ownership, that website is kissyourlandlordgoodbye.com. Kissyourlandlordgoodbye.com. You can also reach the program at 302-739-4263. And then if you're interested in mortgage relief, that program is demortgagehelp.com. That's demortgagehelp.com.
Wow, you got a lot of great information. We got it out there. We're going to put it on the YouTube. Remember, you can always find this on YouTube 24 hours after the airing on Facebook Live at Delaware Info Now. That's Delaware Info Now. That's our YouTube page. You know it. You've seen it. This is going to be one of the good shows that I'm not knocking somebody in the head about. But remember, Delaware Info Now. We're going to go into that. Now, we're going to end the show, and I want you to understand, people out there, everybody who's listening or watching, this is your time. It is not tomorrow. It's not 4 months from now. Now, get that stuff together. Let's get it, and let's try to do better. So I have to say thank you to our great guest today, Mr. David Ross. I have to say, Sister Lori Stovall, Land Bank, Delaware Housing Authority. These two are doing some good things in the community. If you want to say anything else to anybody out there, you can right now. Lori, Dave.
As we have said already, put everything aside at now. What Lori can offer you and your home and your family is to save your home, to keep you in your home. You don't have to move. Just act today. You can get mortgage assistance. You can contact Lori or the Land Bank if you're interested in buying a home. We are in the business of changing neighborhoods and changing lives. Thank you.
And Lori?
Yep. So just again, thank you very much for having me tonight. As Dave mentioned, I act now on the mortgage relief, because one thing I did not mention is that those funds are limited. So once that $50 million is gone, the program is gone. So make sure you apply now to get mortgage assistance. And as always, reach out to the Delaware State Housing Authority, reach out to me and my team in the PR department with any questions or concerns you have related to housing. Thank you again for having us. It's been an honor.
Thank you. And listen, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Today's price ain't tomorrow's price. So that's why we're telling you to better act now.